It's finally here, episode 50 of Box News. Thank you for being patient and waiting these couple weeks while I move across the state so I can start a new chapter in my life. But this is not stopping. Box News is going to be regularly uploaded every Sunday from here out, or try to anyways. I apologize, this one's posted Monday. But every Sunday from here out, a new episode will be up. Covering a new game, old game, just news in general. I'm also adding a new segment, answering your questions and giving you the industry news and gaming news at the end of each video. Alright, this one covers my top 5 favorite games of all time, which was a very hard list to compile. Basically, it took me a lot of digging, a lot of old, a lot of new games, what I really enjoyed the most and what I can go back to and still get that same enjoyment today. Start off with number 5. I could not pick a single game in this series, so I had to say the Grand Theft Auto series is number 5. If I had to pick one though, I really enjoyed San Andreas probably the most out of them. But the Part 3 was the most influential of the GTA series for me, to get me really hooked on the series. I enjoyed 1 and 2 with the bird's eye view on the PS1, but I'd say the one that really was like, okay, I gotta get a system to get this game, was the GTA 3 for the PS2. Went over to Home Skillet's house and he completely sold me on the game. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. So I had to, pick that game up and pick that system up just because of that game. So that was number 5, and that's why. Number 4, as a kid, everyone remembers, moments of Mario, as did I. But number 4, the original Sonic the Hedgehog for Sega. That was, the big launch for Sega as being relevant. Unfortunately, it had its demise, several years later. But Sonic, still prevalent today. But yeah, Sonic, just the original one. I mean, they're all fun. I love the addition of Miles, Tails, as you call them. Knuckles was awesome. Just the characters, the colors, and the music and everything was just very memorable for me. Number 3, I remember playing this game in the arcades before I actually got it on the NES, was Super Mario Bros. 2. This is the one, spoiler alert, where you play through the whole game and then Mario wakes up and it was just a dream. To me that was like, wow, they didn't add twists and just, a side scroller. I thought that was a really cool idea right there. I remember going to the bowling alley growing up and having to ask parents for quarters so I can go play Super Mario 2, and I always picked the princess. Luigi sucked, his jump was awkward, Mario was just Mario, and Toad was Toad. With the princess you could glide and get over the gaps much easier. But just Super Mario 2, everything about it, the music and just everything, it was just very memorable Mario for me. They were all great. I love World. That's definitely the runner-up in the Mario series for me. Was 64, coming close behind that. But Super Mario 2 was amazing. If you have never played it, fine to get it on the Wii. It's a classic game for download, so pick that up. Number 2, I couldn't decide which game out of the series of this one to pick, so I picked the series as a whole, was the Metal Gear Solid series. They relaunched the series on the PS1. It was a 2-part series for the NES. Most people don't know that, but look it up. Metal Gear was originally around for the NES. And then I believe they may have had one for the Game Boy, but don't quote me on that. But just Metal Gear is a series. I love the story, I love the character design, I just love the stealth, espionage, action, as they say. And it was fun. Number 4 really brought back those memories of the series when I got the PS3. But the one that they released for the PlayStation 1, Metal Gear Solid, I got it for Christmas, probably, gosh, I want to say it came out in 97 or 98, and I remember getting that for Christmas and getting the little, strategy guide that came with it by Prima, and playing through that, and it was a 2-disc game. I remember I was like, wow, I got through the first disc of a game, and now I'm on the second, and just it was so challenging. And just one of the things in particular was when you're fighting Psycho Mantis, he reads you can read your thoughts, and what they did was had the game start to read your memory card from your save file, see how many times you died, just basically your stats of your progress through it, and it scans your memory card in a little screen. Instead of video, like, you know, when you change your video 1, video 2, it says Hideo, which is Hideo Kojima, which is the guy that, you know, designed the game, basically came up with the story, came up with just everything. He created the game, and it just does that. And what you do is you change your memory card from slot A to slot B, so he can't read your memory, so you can actually defeat him. Because if you read your memory, you basically can't use any of your weapons or any of your tactics that you used throughout the game prior to facing him. And you have to, he's invincible at that point, so you have to do that. And it's one of those things that you just figured out by trial and error. I don't even remember how I figured it out, because the internet wasn't, you know, booming then. You couldn't look up cheat codes as easily as you can now. And I don't believe it was in the strategy guide. I don't honestly remember how I figured it out. It might have been word of mouth at school or word of mouth with people, but it was one of those things like, wow, you know, gaming is evolving at that point. And I was 12 or 13 years old, and you know, that was a huge movement for gaming for me. But number one, my favorite game of all time, still to this day, I'll stand by this, and I'll probably never change this pick, was Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past for the Super Nintendo. I remember playing this so much growing up, and I remember beating it finally, and I thought it was one of the hardest, longest RPG games that I've ever played and beat. And it was just so fun to play through again, and the music, the idea of playing through a world, beating it, and then having it be the same exact world but flipped as the Dark World, and just going through all the things again, but everything's slightly twisted. It was a sweet idea. They give you everything happy, and then they give you everything, you know, sad and just basically destroyed. And I thought that was a great idea for a game. And I mean, the series as a whole is fantastic. I don't think I've been let down besides Zelda 2, which is their attempt at a side-scroller Zelda. I wasn't too fond of that, but the rest of the series was good. Well, Majora's Mask, besides the timing, where they time you and it resets the day. If you've ever played that, that was for 64. And I really did like Wind Waker. That was a good one. But Link to the Past, if you have never played it, they have it on the Game Boy Advance as like a retro game, which comes part of the Four Swords expansion, which links to the GameCube. Pick it up there. You can get it on the Wii Classic console. If you have a Super Nintendo still, which I give you props if you do, find that game just because it's so much fun. If you've never played it, you're gonna get a thrill out of it. It's a great story. So that's my number one game of all time. That was the highlighted part of episode 50. It's not done yet, so don't click stop or navigate away from the page. I got more. Have some industry news that I'm going to talk about. Final Fantasy 13 was scheduled to have downloadable content. It got canceled. Instead, they're going to be releasing an Ultimate Hits edition with stuff for after you fight the final boss, which, if you go back to my review on the game, I found that as a flaw. After you beat the boss, you get nothing. Recently, an Xbox Live gamer was suspended for putting in his profile his home of Fort Gay, West Virginia. Basically, they have a zero tolerance for any sort of expression, which they've been fighting for recently, which they've been allowing people to express their personalities and their true selves and their profile content. But he was suspended for putting in the word gay, which people must have complained, found offensive. But that's actually his hometown. It's a base, and he finally got through with Xbox Live support, and they got his account the suspension lifted. So he was suspended for a short period of time for posting just where he's from. There's also a list of a bunch of unique names of cities that would get you suspended on the internet if you just search them. So that was interesting, but they fixed that and it's down, so now if you live in that area, you can repost that you live in that area again. Just try not to be offensive about it. DICE, the company DICE, has shown off its new downloadable content, the expansion of Vietnam. It's supposed to come out by the end of the year. New 360, Xbox 360 bundle coming out this fall in November, which is $399, and it includes the new Kinect, which comes out in November, and a 250 gigabyte hard drive. The exact date is November 4. Okay. EA Sports version of the UFC, their own fighters and whatnot. It's called EA Sports MMA. The demo is out on September 28th. So if you're curious to see how well it is in comparison to the UFC Undisputed games, check it out September 28th. DJ Hero 2 and Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock demos are now available on the marketplace, so check those out if you're curious about getting the new Guitar Hero or trying DJ Hero 2, which I'm not sure how you'd try DJ Hero 2 if you didn't have a turntable already, but I'll look into that and let you all know. I do have a turntable, so but if you don't, I'll find out what you can do with that. Rock Band 3 will allow export from Rock Band 2, so if you have songs that you banked up from Rock Band 1 and 2, you'll be able to export most of them to Rock Band 3. There obviously always are license issues, so you might not be able to get all the songs you purchase, which sucks, but I don't have a list of ones you won't be able to get. Halo Reach to feature custom name tags, better than what they used with Halo 3. The letter number logos will appear from the Bungie games you have played next to your gamer tag. So if you've played Halo 1, Halo 2, or Halo ODST, you'll have like a custom logo that you can put on there, basically showing that you've completed the campaign or whatever achievements you've completed from those series. Also, if you have links to the PC or the Bungie.net website, you'll get different logos for that. Alright, just released this past week, NHL 11 for the 360 and PS3, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions on all the consoles, Ruse for the 360 and PS3, Hawks 2 for the 360 and PS3, and Metroid Other M, which came out just over a week ago on the Wii. Check those games out now if any of those sound interesting to you. Coming out this week will be PlayStation Move and titles along with that. Halo Reach for the 360, which will be probably the big one this fall, and Cabela's North American Adventures on all the consoles. Alright, last segment here, I gotta rush it. Answer some of your questions. Will Firefight be online for Reach? Yes, online Firefight. There will be. You can basically customize your own Firefight modes and challenge your friends to them. I don't know how it works on matchmaking levels yet, but obviously at midnight tonight, you'll find out yourself. So I apologize I wasn't able to answer that completely, but yes, it will be online. Any word on Diablo 3? 2011 release. There's rumors on Christmas Eve 2010, but basically I don't know anything. I wish I could get some information on that. Millions of people are asking, so who knows? This will be hopefully for those fans out there, Christmas Eve. Black Ops will it have host immigration. Treyarch had it on Call of Duty 3 if you recall, so more than likely it will be there on Black Ops. Will Fable 3 follow the story 1 and 2? It will follow the same town, but it's years later in the industrial beginnings. 1 and 2 had different characters apart from each other anyway, so it's going to follow a similar story around similar based characters, but it's its own thing. And what game are you most excited about at the end of 2010? Rock Band 3. Would I rather have the Xbox Kinect or PlayStation Move? I would definitely have the Kinect over Move, just because the PlayStation seems just like the Wii. And what improvement from the previous Halo games that will now be on Reach are you looking forward to most? The ranking and experience point system. That's basically it. But I'm out of time now, and I want to thank you for all your questions. Definitely keep asking more, and then post your top 5 games of all time on here. And thank you for watching episode 50 of Box News. Hope you all have a fun time playing Halo, and a good day.